Hi everyone. Today we have Wayne Franks of Professional Drone Services of Texas. Hi Wayne, thank you for being here.
Hi, thanks for having me, Rhianna.
Brilliant. Please tell us a little bit about yourself and about Professional Drone Services.
Well, sure. I've had the company for 6 years, and I spent 19 years with a Fortune 500 company in IT. And I took an early out, and I kind of went off the grid and built homes. I built homes and remodeling for 13 years, and the company sold. I was bought out, and I have an older son that's an aviator. He's a helicopter pilot and fixed wing
Wow.
pilot. And we knew 6 years ago that the drone business was coming around. And
Mm-hmm.
I had a younger son that, couldn't quite find the road. And we decided to start the drone business. And for the last 6 years, uh, we really focus, we're a solutions orientated company in the engineering sector. We do mapping and thermal scans of building envelopes. We do looking for uh, abnormalities in the walls and leaks in the roofs. And we also do mapping where we're able to fly the drone in a grid pattern, and we're collecting data every couple seconds, and we're able to export that file into like a CAD like program. So engineers are able to pull that into their plans, to their site plans, and they're
Mm-hmm.
able to look for accuracy, um, uh, management of the whole project. So engineering is a really good vertical market for us in the drone business.
Yeah, for sure. Back when I was on site in construction, we used to have drones fly over. We used to use it for our monthly recordings. We could then, we could get a bit of data on stockpiles, measurements. We could see,
Yes.
roads that we've boxed out, the quantities that we've pulled out. So very basic. I know. I'm sure you're used to
Yes.
more advanced stuff, but it's very cool.
Yeah, we've done that. We call it volumetric computations.
Yeah, that's awesome.
Uh-huh.
So speaking of, professional drone services, would you like to show us a little bit about what you guys have recently done? I'd love to see something.
Sure. I've got one right here.
Amazing. This was not planned at all.
So that was kind of a fun one.
Yeah, that's great. Now I know you said, you've been in the industry in different industries for a while and then you found yourself doing drone services. How, I guess, did you come up with let me enter the drone services space? I know you kind of had this realization that it was a space that was about to boom and about to take off, but for someone to really pivot and go down this path is very interesting. So what made you go, yup, that's what I'm going to try?
I think Rihanna, I think because of working for a Fortune 500 company, the last 5 years I was in executive management,
Mm-hmm.
and I was over close to 2,000 people, and I was over engineering, marketing, sales. I was over everything for 26 states. So I always like to take a technical solution
Mm-hmm.
and wrap it up with some marketing.
Yep.
And I kind of started looking at the drone business, and I kind of look at the drone really as a PC. It's like a
Mm-hmm.
PC in the sky. So I was real familiar with wide area networks and local area networks. And I just kind of looked at it as a PC. and I was always kind of a solutions integrator type of person and company. So I really took, what I had done in the past and just
Mm-hmm.
put a different little wrapping around it.
Yeah. I love that. Over the past 6 years that you've been doing this, how have you seen the industry change? If it has changed at all, have you noticed, a visible change?
You know, today we were filming a manufacturer, and he was explaining to me, and we do a lot of industrial, we can
Mm-hmm.
fly the drone internally. And this was a real high tech packaging plant. They
Mm-hmm.
packaged like caulk, things that you see. And he was explaining to me, we were filming all of these racks and all his inventory. And he was explaining to me at the last company, they had a drone up in the air parked by each shelf, each column of shelves.
Uh-huh.
And at the end of the day, the drone would fly and read barcodes, and they
Wow.
would instantly that night. And I mean, this is a warehouse that's hundreds of thousands of square feet.
Mm-hmm.
Think Amazon.
Uh-huh.
And the drone flies and takes all that data, so they instantly know their inventory.
That's
So
amazing.
I'm not involved with that, but that was even eye opening to me.
Yeah.
But I think to answer your question, everyone in corporate, I call it bigger, faster, and quicker. Fast, affordable, and efficient.
Mm-hmm.
And the people in any business that can come up with those kind of solutions, that's going to get that's going to get eyeballs. That's going to
Yeah.
get people looking at it.
Yeah.
So I'm always looking for something that is of value, where the client's getting more value, but it's quicker and it
Yeah.
actually ends up costing them less.
That's great. I was just going to ask you, how do you separate yourself from the competition? And I think you kind of just answered it there.
Yeah. Because, if you talk to 10 people about the drone business, I'll say that five or six of them will go, "Oh, well, I just don't want that around my house.
Mm-hmm.
And is it looking in my house?" Well, you see, one way we separate ourselves, we don't do houses and residential.
Right.
We're more industrial.
Okay.
We do thermal imaging scans of large commercial roofs. We even have a methane gas sensor on the drone,
Wow.
and we fly it along pipelines.
Yeah.
And the that plume that comes out from a gas leak, the lasers on the methane gas sensor hit the plume and come back. So we can't pinpoint it to the exact spot, but we call it an area of interest, which
Yeah.
within 20, 30, or 40 feet, we can tell you where there's a methane gas leak.
That is so cool. My knowledge or experience with drones is very limited, or I want to say basic. That's incredible. Can you tell me a bit more about some of the innovative ways people are using drones these days?
Well, one thing that we do a lot of, we map raw land.
Okay.
And, because of a lot of people wanting to kind of flee the city and get into the country, is a
Mm-hmm.
lot of trends. Every month, a not a commercial developer. That's kind of a different subject. But
Yeah.
the actual owner of the land, they literally call me and go, "Hey, Wayne, we've got 20 acres west of San Antonio. And quite honestly, we don't know what's there."
Right.
So we go out and map it. And I mentioned to you a little bit, we are collecting that data. But we can also, when we're collecting the data, we do what are called 3D orthomosaics and
Wow.
2D topology maps. So they can actually see um, if the land is, where there might have flooding issues,
Mm-hmm.
where it's raised, and these landowners want to do some basic planning. They want to
Yep.
put in a house. They want to put in a stream. They want to put in a barn, and we can really help them from a high level make those decisions.
Yeah. Wow, that is so cool. Um, Another one I was really curious about is challenges. So again, from my limited experience, I know that generally proximity to flight paths and things like that can be a really big challenge. I guess, is there anything else that you've really had to overcome with this sort of line of work, and how do you get around it?
So I think challenge is okay word, but see, to fly a drone legally in the United States, all the jurisdiction and the laws come under the FAA,
Okay.
and you have to get a license called your 107,
Uh huh.
your Part 107. It's called. The issue is it's quite easy, really, to get that, and there are hundreds of thousands of drone pilots all over the United States,
Mm-hmm.
and uh, they and it's fine. I'm good with all that, but because of my background with larger companies,
Mm-hmm.
I've 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 focused on my company being like the Fortune 500 company I work for, only there's not as many zeros, as I say. So my challenge is, of course, a potential client will call around and ask for quotes,
Mm-hmm.
and they'll start going, well, we got a quote from ABC company and they're 20 or 30% lower than you.
Sure.
And I'm like, well, Mrs. Jones, Mr. Jones, have they flown over? We just went 80 miles out to the Gulf of Mexico and filmed a freighter,
Yeah.
an oil tanker,
Uh-huh.
80 miles out in the Gulf. You have to have a pilot that's really confident that he's not going to dump the drone,
For
in the
sure.
sea, in the water. So we're in a show me business.
Yeah.
My YouTube channel has 70 different types of videos we've done. So to directly answer your question, once I'm able to really speak with the client and
Mm-hmm.
explain to them, we've done this, here's the proof. Um, Let me tell you a couple other things that might help you with what you're trying to achieve by calling us. A high percentage of the time, we get the business.
Sure.
But it's like any business, there's little guys, there's medium guys, and there's bigger guys.
Of course.
So that's nothing new to me. You just have to have a really compelling story.
Sure. Yeah. I love that. I want to wrap up with just a couple more questions. I guess, the question or the hot topic at the moment is AI. How have you seen that affect drone works? For good or
Well,
bad?
quite honestly, the biggest way I've seen it is in our advertising.
Sure.
We do a lot of advertising with pay-per-click. I'm sure you're probably familiar with
Mm-hmm.
pay-per-click. Well, I had a company approach me about 3 or 4 months ago. And of course, with pay-per-click, you have to put different ads with keywords out there.
Sure.
And what AI is doing for us is the AI brain knows that in the last 5 minutes, 3 people or 5 people went out there and said drones for a cornfield, let's say,
Right.
which is kind of strange.
Right.
But the AI recognizes that and automatically generates an ad that said drones for cornfields.
Wow.
And of course, not too many people have an ad out there
No.
for drones recording you. So I'm hearing about more things. Um, I'm on a couple beta testing boards with manufacturers because 6 years in this business I've been around a little bit. But I haven't quite honestly, I've heard things, but I haven't really seen anything
Sure.
that I could say I'm ready to go fly and use right now.
Okay. So it's a watch this space.
It's coming. I think it's going to be coming with what we call obstacle avoidance.
Okay.
The drone has sensors. For engineering firms, we fly under bridges.
Yep.
We fly under underpasses. And I think the first thing they're really looking at, if they know the bridge is this big and they know there's support, well, if they know it's this big, then they know there's going to be something here. So the drone will miss it.
Yeah.
But now you get right with the avoidance systems, you get right on it and it beeps at you and it can be too late.
Sure. Yeah, I'm excited. I'm excited for you. Watch this space. I like to ask this question at the end for everyone, and I think you have such a great journey. I would love to know for anyone who is looking to start their own business, pivot industries, start a new life and career, what is some advice you would give them?
Quite honestly, Rhianna, with any business, it's very hard to bootstrap it. Okay. It's very hard to do it without any capital. And quite honestly, I have a group, actually on Facebook, of 700 pilots that I mentor.
Wow.
And I give a marketing nugget once or twice a week to help them. Because I'm a little bit at the point in my career where it's more fun to give back than always take.
Yeah.
So I think I would get down to, I'm a great believer that every business has business basics.
Right.
And if you take those core basics, could be a drone company, a home builder. You could build pens. But, to start it with nothing, I know that's an American dream, but I think it's very low percentage will make it. So you do need capital. You do need a plan. And you need some coaching. You need some coaching to get in that business. As long as you know it, a P&L for this remote control and the P&L for the pen, even though they're two different things, it's still a P&L. So you got to know what that is. But once you get into the business, you really need to get out there. You really need to read up, and you really need to find out what's working and what isn't working.
Sure. I love that advice. That's really invaluable. So thank you so much. And I guess we'll wrap it up there. Thank you so much, Wayne, for your time and energy today and for being on the podcast. And thank you to the listeners. We'll see you next time.
Great. Well, thank you for having me. I appreciate it.